Hey friend, I'm Enzo, the founder of Prism, and at Prism we help small businesses grow using technology and design. And God, it's just the best time ever to own a business right now. I swear, it's so exciting. And even if you aren't that technical and you aren't that deep in, just the AI world and the software world and all of that, you can still reap these massive, massive benefits from this. And I think it's just so, so exciting. And I'm particularly excited for all of our brick and mortar businesses. We work with like a lot of dental practices and retail businesses, and as well as like startup founders. And so I kind of want to walk through today. Hey, is this thing better than Comet? Comet is Perplexity's kind of agentic browser that released about 2 weeks ago. And it's 10 times the price of this. This ChatGPT Agent is available to the normal $20 per month users. So Comet, I paid for this and use it for our business. It's $200 a month. So I kind of am going to give you guys my take on after using that, for a while, how it kind of matches up to Agent. And the specific use case that we're going to do in this video is I'm going to have ChatGPT Agent set up some tours for apartments, and then create a Google Sheet to track our apartment hunting project. And then stylize that Google Sheet so that it's easier for us to read. So context here is we're looking for a new apartment. We kind of have these, and so I've already done I've already done this with Agent. I'm going to kind of show you the result right now. So let's just go ahead and skip over to that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up. You'll notice that I'm in Comet as well, right? So Comet, again, like I said, it's Perplexity's agentic browser, and it's super powerful, and it's, like I said, 10 times as expensive. So basically, we come up here and I gave it some information, like we're looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, like how much we're willing to pay for it per month. We want like an in-unit washer and dryer. And I want to find the best listings on my behalf and try to schedule a tour. And then I gave it my contact information so that it can go ahead and set up those tours. And so it asked me some clarifying questions at first. So it's kind of like deep research where it's like, okay, are there any other specifics you want, like pet friendliness, floor preference, things like that? I told it, no, not really. But I told it I want to be close to this college because that's where I do my track and field training. And that we want easy parking for 2 cars, there's 2 of us, and AC. And so that's what it says. It understood, and then it worked here for 22 minutes. It did 24 searches and went through 197 sources. And through all of that, you can click into here, and you can see this is just a great. You can just tell they're going so hard on product, right? I mean, they obviously invested huge in Johnny Ive's firm and everything, but you can see this experience is awesome, right? You basically get this browser view of what the agent did, and you can look into its virtual machine and see, what it's doing. So it's reading, I found a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, in San Jose. And so you can see it kind of going through all these different steps. And, I don't want this video to be like an hour long, so we'll skip through some of it. But yeah, it just did a bunch of research on these things. And then, like I said, for 22 minutes. And then after that, it printed this out and it said, hey, these 3 basically look good. It gave me some of the key things that I asked for, like how far it is from that college and the key features and price and everything like that. And then it prepared the contact to reach out to this one property on Rentable using that information I provide with it. And it kind of checked in one more time, was like, hey, do you want to submit this? And I said, yes, go for it. But we actually, it misunderstood. We're trying to move into this apartment like mid to end of August, and it misunderstood, and it tried to set the tour date for that. So I kind of clarified, hey, we actually just want a tour like ASAP if it's a good one. And then our move-in date is like mid to end of August. So that was pretty interesting. And then I was like, okay, is it going to, pull this off? Is it going to be able to submit it? And it totally did. So it went over here and we can see kind of a little bit into what it did. And yeah, then it kind of went through and contacted and to verify this, we can go, it said you should have a confirmation email. So I'll go into my email now and show you guys this, like what this looked like. And yeah, this was it, right? So this is the confirmation that we got. And you can see that the message is on the way at Rentable, that they received it. And we can click on this to see more details about this property that they applied for, right? So this is kind of like what it looks like. It's all right. It seems decent. It seems good and everything. I think it's worth like touring. You can check out like some of the details down here and everything, like that it has that air conditioning and in-unit laundry like we talked about. So yeah, this is just, it's super interesting, right? Like it, and so anyways, so it successfully did that, is basically what that tells us, that, hey, they were able to successfully reach out to this property, like, and submit a request for us. And that we got the confirmation email for that, and then hopefully we can go and do the actual tour here, and maybe I'll make like a video of that too. I think that would be kind of funny. But the next thing that I wanted was for it to put this, for it to put everything that it's finding into a Google Sheet. And so you can see here, I said, hey, put in a Google Sheet, and it worked for a little bit. And it said, I'm at the Google Sheet login page. Please take over and sign into your Google account so I can create and populate the tracking sheet. Once you've logged in, let me know and I'll proceed. So one thing to note for you guys is that I have the Mac OS like native app. So I started this and I did all of this work in the native Mac OS app. But to be able to log into Google Sheets like it wanted me to do, I actually had to go to the browser version of ChatGPT. So that's what I did. And it basically opens up a window. It kind of looks like this, but it's like expanded, and it lets you take control of basically ChatGPT's virtual machine, the agent's virtual machine. So I gave it my login credentials and everything, and then it got access to my sheets, and it went ahead and created this. It added first, it took a couple steps. I mean, in this section here, it said that it put together a sheet, and I was like, it took a while of going back and forth for it to actually add the information to the Google Sheet just right away, like I wanted it to. So first it was like, okay, I created the Google Sheet and the CSV separately. And we can look at the CSV here too, actually, just to show you guys. Let me open this. It's going to open it in numbers. That's a default, but this is essentially what it did, or the sheet that it built. It was really cool. Really interesting, but it wasn't in Google Sheets yet. So I said, hey, can you take it and move it over, all the relevant data and the work you've done so far in finding and applying to tours. And so it took a couple minutes. And again, we can open up this to see this drop down to see what exactly it looked like on its screen and everything like that. And then we can see here that it successfully added it. Or it kind of, it said that it was or whatever, but I still had to give it like one more nudge again. And I said like import the CSV. And I was like, okay, maybe it's, at this point I was not sure if it was going to be able to do that and make that clean handshake with Google Sheets and successfully add that. But it did. It just took a couple of tries and like nudges for it to basically go all the way through the process and do all of it. So it's like working over like an analyst's shoulder or something like that, right? It's kind of similar in that way. But eventually it did add it to the sheets. And this is now actually, I think I can show you guys what the takeover view kind of looks like. And this is what the view I got when I was applying or like connecting and logging into Google Sheets. So you can see it has its own Google Chrome set up here, right? Like it has, look at all these like tabs that it opened. It opened Google Docs over here. So it's kind of like, it's been doing its own thing. It's so interesting. But basically I had it kind of like restylize the sheet. That was what I did like at the end. And it just kind of added some filters here and like added some colors and adjusted the size of the columns. So it could do some basic stuff. I didn't give it, very descriptive or like really a good prompt for that. I kind of just wanted to see what it would do. But yeah, so it's just really, really interesting, guys, right? So basically, this is just really scratching the surface, but I think that this just kind of shows a little bit into how it can have full context into, what you're working on, your business, or for us, like our apartments or everything like that. And then two, like our apartments, our preferences, all that. And then two, like my information, and then being able to take action on my behalf. So setting up those tours and reaching out and scheduling that. And yeah, what if we actually moved into that apartment? That would be so funny. But Yeah, I just think that we're kind of moving more and more to a world where these agents are super powerful and they're able to do more and more things and more complex tasks on your behalf. And you'd imagine like it being able to do so, like I said, kind of bringing us back full circle. Prism, we mostly work with startup teams, like startup founders or owners of small brick and mortar businesses. Okay, and some of the things that there's so many different things you have to do in that position, and that something like one of the active things we're looking at right now is also expanding on like and doing more research on like our business credit cards and making sure that all of that is fully optimized. And normally it's just like, you'd have a finance team going and doing that, right? Like a finance team is going and managing and handling all of that. But now you could have these agentic systems doing that for you, right? So just you can kind of extrapolate this out. Like I said, it took a while, and it wasn't like 100% perfect in taking all the actions that I wanted to take with the apartment example. But eventually it did get there. I just had to kind of keep saying like, okay, go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. But you can just extrapolate this out like for like a few more weeks, a few more months, a few more years, and these things are going to be so exponentially more powerful. I mean, they're going to be able to do so much. These things, I wouldn't be surprised if there are just like, swarms of agents that have their own, businesses, that are spin-offs that are a part of a main business, and it's going in ripping on all these things. Like, for example, like doing like social media kind of, obviously that's a way for us to build like our brand and for us to market our business and everything like that. But it's also a way where you can indirectly create revenue streams for the business through that, right? Through like advertising dollars or partnerships and different things like that. And so imagine if there was just like a cluster or swarm of agents that we had at Prism that just thought about that and opening up those channels of revenue for the business, or like opening up more, or like a partnerships one, like a finance one, an accounting one, tax, right? Like all of these things. I mean, you'll notice if you use, we use QuickBooks now, and like QuickBooks is also like Intuit's pushing really hard on making all of their systems more and more like leaning into AI and agentic. And I just think that you're just going to be able to focus way more higher level on like the strategy and like what you want your company to do. And you're able to think much more long term. It's really hard to think long term when you're dealing with like the day-to-day fires of things like that, like of this, like fixing bugs or figuring out housing for next year, different things like that, right? It's just, it all of it takes away from your ability to think at a high level and think strategically as a founder and as a leader of a company. So I just think that these systems are so powerful. And that one of the things that we talked about like is Perplexity Comet, right? And this is $200 per month. And literally just like earlier this morning, there was a super critical bug that we had with Google Analytics. And it was really hard to like trace it. It was literally like a few hours this morning of trying to debug this, and Perplexity Comet could not do it. I mean, Perplexity Comet wouldn't take control of analytics. It couldn't take control of analytics. It could like read my screen and give me like and do research about stuff on my screen, but it couldn't like go and find the bug and fix it for me, right? Like automatically. And the same thing happened with Google Tag Manager. Like I tried to just literally doing something simple as like creating a new tag, and it wasn't able to do that. But I have had great experience with Perplexity Comet, and like it can fill out like kind of extensive forms and things like that. And I guess that part's kind of useful, how it's able to take action on your screen in that way. But it's really basic. And I would say that already just from like testing this out, I can see that I also tried Perplexity Comet. Like I tried it for the apartment hunting use case as well. And I can already see that I literally had a better, at least the same, if not a better experience in the apartment hunting example with ChatGPT Agent that I did with Comet, right? And Comet, like I said, is 10 times the price. So there's no doubt in my mind that Comet will be able to do the same things too. And like they're both going to move to this place where they can do these really complex tasks for you as an individual in your personal life, but also as like a business and these really complex business tasks. So yeah, it's just, I think that this is the higher level question is like, what does Perplexity Comet do in this situation, right? Because ChatGPT can way like it can just cut their legs out from underneath them in terms of like the pricing, and the product is really good. Like there's just not really that good of a reason to move to Perplexity. You already like to use Perplexity Comet or use Perplexity, let alone like pay $200 extra for it, right? Like I think that, and I'm a power user on this, right? Like I'm literally at the frontier of these things all the time, trying out these new things on our business and our clients' businesses to see what works best. And I'm telling you, like Perplexity Comet right now is just it's not worth it. And I just think they're in a lot of trouble because the brand name, when you think of somebody who's not a power user like me, but just some random, a Joe Schmo on the street, when you talk to them about AI, the brand of the company that they know is ChatGPT and ChatGPT's products. So all the brand trust and everything is built up with that. And users don't want to switch. They want it to be easy and seamless. And basically what OpenAI is doing is they're adding more and more augments onto the brand and more about what ChatGPT can do and OpenAI can do, right? Like now it has agent mode, it had deep research, and it had codex, right? And all of these things it's becoming like the AI everything company. And I just, when you listen to Altman talk about this stuff, it's just so obvious that like, dude, it's going to be so hard to compete with these guys on anything that they're doing, anything that they're doing. They're going to just be, even if they don't have the best product, they win because they have that brand. They already won the mind share of like, okay, Joe, like when someone thinks AI, they think of ChatGPT, they trust ChatGPT, and like they don't even know what Perplexity is. So yeah, it's just really interesting, obviously, because like I love, like I said, I'm a power user on the frontier. Like I'm always thinking, like looking and trying at these new things and from the tech world. But for the clients that a lot of the clients we work with, right, these owners and founders of small like brick and mortar businesses, dude, they do not want these extra like brand new tools and things to add into their business. It's already so complex. It's so much better, even if you get like a little bit of a not as good product, like a 10% worse product. But if you just can implement OpenAI and you get all of these different parts of that bundle, it becomes impossible. And I think that, I don't know, we're just going to I think that things are moving so fast that it's really hard to regulate these guys. But I think that we're going to see a lot of interesting like movement on like, what are the rules around this, like with bundling and just cutting like startups like knees out from underneath them. Because I think the classic like historical example of this is like Microsoft getting into trouble like with all their bundling and just making it impossible for startups to compete in that way. Like historically in the past they've done that, or Apple, like historically they've done that too, where it's like they just they have the App Store and all these startups on the App Store, and somebody a way back when some individual developer, a little startup company actually created the flashlight app. Like that was an app that somebody created and that was making money and did its own thing and everything like that, and it was its own company. And then Apple was like, hey, that's a pretty good idea, and they have full stack control of everything, and they built a better version of it, right? The product was better, it was easier for people to use. So when you can make it better and easier for people to use, it is so hard to compete with that. But yeah, so I just think this stuff is moving so quickly. The landscape is so interesting right now. And all I know is like all of our clients and the people, like the partners we work with, the entrepreneurs in our community are all going to ride this wave to infinity. I swear, guys. Like if you're on the other side of this, you're going to like just have to keep on trying out these tools and be familiar with it and learn the skills. And especially like I think that there's first mover advantage on this stuff. I mean, that's really what this whole story is about. What I've been saying is like OpenAI had the first mover advantage on AI. They literally like in the wealth and like just the value that they're able to capture from that. We're literally just seeing a tiny fraction of it right now, what I'm saying, but this is going to go to the moon. This stuff, these companies are going to get so massive, and these like the AI is going to become so powerful that it's going to be super hard to compete with these people. So, but the product and experience is amazing, right? Like I just said, that was the easiest like apartment. This is such a powerful tool. for your personal life and for your business. So anyways, that's my take on it. I wanted to get this video out quickly for you guys, but that's kind of what I've tried so far. So let me know in the comments if you've tried this before. What do you think? Is it better than Comet? If you tried Comet, is Comet worth the $200? And what are you guys using this for in your business or in your personal lives that have you seen really like awesome gains from it? I would love to know. So you can shoot me a message or add a comment. And if you want us to go and implement the Prism flywheel, obviously this thing, you saw our last video about the Prism flywheel. This thing is going to be amazing. Like I said, all of our clients are going to infinity with this stuff. So if you want to hop on board, you can go to the link in the description, check out our website and get in contact with me and we'll figure something out. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, friend. I appreciate you and I'll see you in the next one.